Okay, أنا ماهر جرار. I teach at CVSP and at Arabic department. I give some lectures at CVSP, and I'm now teaching CVSP 205, one of the sections. So I love teaching CVSP and have some experience of interactive teaching for some years now. So please help me. Stop me whenever you have question or we want to say comment anything, okay? I'm ready. It's not about only lecturing. I'd rather that we discuss. So what I want to introduce at this juncture now, at the beginning of the semester, who is attending CVSP course for the first time? So the majority, okay. The majority. Usually this is a course for sophomore students. يعني it's starting course. You know, you have to attend 2 CVSP courses before you graduate, okay? Some of you more, but at least 2 are requirements. These are the university humanities requirements and general education requirements. I'm not going to talk about history, what we used to do. Let's talk what you do now, actually, okay? So you attend 2 courses, and we ask of you that you attend 1 course in the first sequence, which is either CVSP 201, 202, 205, or 207, مظبوط. 1 course in the second sequence, which is 202, 204, 208. Why? لأنه first sequence usually covers cultures, civilizations that belong to the what we call classical period. Now, what's classical period? It could start 3000 BC, as we're doing in CVSP 201. يعني we start with Gilgamesh, one of the first epics ever written in the world, in the human history, okay? And it might stop then some point at the 14th century, okay? For this huge vast, we call it all classical? No, actually. You know, we're lumping up things together just to make it easier in order to make 2 sequences, okay? So 1 sequence from this classical, en parenthèse, culture, civilizations, and the other from a different sequence, which starts in, again, it's European periodization, what we call the Enlightenment. Okay? Renaissance, يعني 14th, 15th century, Enlightenment, 16, 17, and above, Industrial Revolution. And now the basic idea in CVSP is that we read from different cultures, civilizations. ما هو اسمه civilization sequence program. It's a sequence because we have the first level. It's not a level, by the way, okay? يعني if you're reading course, if you're attending course into a 1 first sequence, it's the same thing, same methods, same approach as if you were attending a 204 and 208. Why? Not the same material, definitely not the same material, okay? So we try to achieve 2 things. The first thing are communicative skills. مظبوط? Communication skills. يعني reading and writing. AUB or any university, any college education, it's culmination. Even if you major in certain, if you have certain major, يعني, say economics, say literature, say medicine, say engineering, what have you, okay? Anthropology, sociology, nursing, what have you, okay? This does not build a character of a college woman, a college young man, a college young woman, okay, who is being prepared to go to the society, enter the society, and negotiate. So part of your initiation, 3 years to 4 years, initiation program at the university is to prepare you for life, for real life. Education is part of real life, yes. But education has different methods, different approaches. مظبوط. Education is education of character, social education as well. Okay, how to deal with people and how to read experiences, different experiences of various and different cultures and civilizations from east and west. هلا نحن we're more Eurocentric إذا بدكم، okay؟ لأنه the program started when it started totally Eurocentric. Students used to read only texts that are Western, يعني texts, okay? European, American, what have you. إنه Indian, see, forget it. Chinese, forget it. Arabic, what for? So starting late 60s, okay, that the program civilization start to mean more than Greek and Greco-Latin, okay, and more than modern European cultures. So we start reading texts in Arabic philosophy, in Arabic thought, in Arabic literature. Unfortunately, still no text from China or India or Egypt or the Inca or other cultures, okay? So I'm trying to give an introductory lecture, okay? This is why I'm opening up some ideas with you for discussion as well. So it's part of our education, part of our initiation process to build a character which is humanistic, humane character, who's going to deal in a multiracial, multicultural, post society today, is that we know experiences of other cultures and other peoples. But this is not the only thing. I said it is communication skills. We want to read how we want to learn together how to read. You throw a text in front of me. By the way, none of our books is bigger than this one. Usually we read 30 pages a week. This is nothing. If you go to Europe or the States afterwards, either for work or for education, okay, at least you need to read. Students are prepared to read per week at least 2 books and 3 articles. مش انه read بتقلي read them وخلصنا، لا، read and be able to discuss and open discussion and write about them even, okay, comment, not write the short essays. We don't do that, but we want at least to help you have this skill of reading, okay, how to read a text, any text. But then what we read in a cultural text, it has to do with the history of thought, or with literature, or with great ideas, okay? So this is one of the exercises we try to achieve in CVSP. If we are able to achieve it or not, this does not only depend on us, this depends on you as well, okay? So it's different from section to section. This is why we have a common lecture every Monday, which would, set the pace for all the sections. This Monday lecture is an introductory lecture in order to contextualize, okay, the reading. Put the reading in a context. Help you, some quick information sometimes. Excuse me? A Tuesday lecture, indeed. We have Tuesday lectures. Other sections have Monday lectures, whatever. So, sorry. Indeed, if I say Monday, you will show up on Mondays, then not anymore on Tuesday. So we have Monday lectures on Mondays, lectures on Tuesday, and to read is to read in class as well. You should be able to read first, to read at home. What I tell the students usually, the best way, by the way, is to have a foretaste during the weekend. Before we start the week, this week we are reading Gilgamesh, okay? The foretaste is find half an hour during the weekend and have a look at the text, okay? Perhaps you want to read 2-3 pages from the introduction, but we'd rather go directly to the text. Just have taste. Who is this voice which is talking to me? This voice is at least 6,000 years of age, and he's talking to me from deep back in history. And the book starts with, I am Gilgamesh. There's an I. So there's exactly like in a film, you go to a movie and you start the movie, we're in the movie, and all of a sudden we stop and I say, who is talking to me in the film? مظبوط? This I. Look, an epic, we talk about what is an epic and all this, but someone is talking to me, a voice from 6,000 years back in history. Why I was still reading it, and what does this voice want from me? Okay? It's like an alter ego. It's like, a subconscious within me that is talking to me. We are going to read a fascinating, fabulous short story, short narrative, okay, about the human being. His relation with his society, his relation with his friendship, love, death, and the journey. 4 basic questions that are still very important and very essential for each and every human being. The journey where all of us are on a journey, okay? The ideal life is a journey. Hit the road, man. Hit the road, journey. Love, death, okay? So, I go back to the Monday lectures and what we do. And I propose that you read a foretaste. Take half an hour during the weekend, have a look at the text, whatever the text that we are going to read. Is this enough? Definitely not. It's not enough. Now you come to the Tuesday lecture and the lecturer would help you. And I'm talking nonsense perhaps, okay? But usually I'm giving an introductory lecture. If I were giving a lecture about the reading, it would be more focused, okay? So the lecturer helps you, she or he helps you. But first I have foretaste at least in order to grasp what is the lecture, what does she or he want from me. Now the second thing is you start reading before you enter the class. Usually I said 3 pages per week, and you are supposed to read 15 pages in the first 2.5 days of the week and 15 pages in the second 2.5 days of the week. It's not much, by the way. It's not much at all. It's not much. And this is part of your training to be able to read. To come to class, you have read. So what do we do in class? We discuss. We open up themes together. Definitely, we read together some passages. Okay? لأنه قلنا training, to train you or to train us together how to read is to put the text, okay, and dissect, if you want, the text. So I'll tell you, please read the first 2 lines. You read, we stop, and we talk about everything possible in these 2 lines. About structure, about content, about language, about who is speaking, voices, okay? إذا بدك even about if I want to change these 2 lines that I've read into a 2 minutes YouTube movie, how would you do it? All possibilities, and to play with the text, to play with words, okay? هلا أنا not all sections are doing this, but each and every section, each and every instructor, she or he definitely has his own method, which is her own method, and which is definitely good. And the main thing is that we interact. Like an interaction, your part of the story is very important. Fine? Like in CVSP is about great books. This is an introduction, okay? The first text we're going to start with is Gilgamesh. قلنا 6,000 years, ليه 6,000 years? نحن we're in the year 2018. This was written around 2,500. But before it was written down in a very strange script, we're going to see it, it used to be an oral tradition at least for 1,000 years before that. Oral tradition. يعني orally, till some writers, some scribes decided to sit down and write it. معناتها كان عندهم writing materials. No computer. How can I هون ليه نقلتونا من لكن can you all see it, or this is we don't need it? Can't you see? You can't see it, طيب لكن no use ما عندنا وحده هون. عم نجربها. طيب خليني let me go on like this, okay? لكن CVSP are courses that start with Gilgamesh and end in modern times, in the 21st century, okay? We want to be introduced to all these different texts and different cultures. Each text comes from a different context, cultural context, language context, methodology. Some texts are scientific, other are philosophical, other are economic, historical, or literature. So the training is to be trained to read more than one genre, okay? This is what we do. In CVSP 201, we try to cover 2 periods and 2 civilizations only. 3 civilizations. Okay, we start with this very ancient Mesopotamian culture. Mesopotamian is the land between the 2 rivers, يعني the Tigris, and now you can see صار في اشتغل هونيك. طيب let us change now the course of the lecture. But what we read classics. Now classics are texts that have had a permanent significance for generations of readers. It becomes a classic. Okay, يعني perhaps Agatha Christie today or the generation for you is a classic. Why? Don't ask me why. The text that endures, يعني passes the test of time and the test of readers. The text which is read over hundreds of years by hundreds, thousands of readers. It becomes a classic. Okay, think more about it if you want. You can play games in class to define what is a classic. Okay, or enter Google or some encyclopedias on Google يعني try to see what is a classic. بس هلا أنا my definition what we read here are the endurance of time. Texts that have passed generations of reader over civilizations. يعني the text has had influence not only in one culture but had an influence on other cultures as well. Okay, in its own culture, other cultures. Influence great minds and shape cultural heritage. تعرف عن heritage ميراث. These texts speak to our reality. Although the text is written 6,000 years ago, or less, or more, it still speaks to me as a human being, as a cultural animal. We're animals, but we speak. مظبوط. And a human being is an animal that speaks, that has mind. He talks and has mind. The relation between mind and speech. Speech is important. Communication. These texts communicate through cultures and generations, civilizations, and great minds. These are the texts we are reading. Second, there are certain texts that have passed the test of time. We said it. Influence. They speak to reality and to our existence. If they're written in the 6th century BC, but they speak to our existence as human beings who live in this sense now in the 21st century. لأنه problem of love, not problems, questions of love, hunger, okay, love and death, all over cultures. The question of identity, by the way, is defined by these 3 things through speech, definitely. Okay? معناتها these texts still speak to our reality. They have an element of connectedness with the understanding of ourselves and our societies. Are we going to discover? معناتها each and every reading would be a journey. We'll pump into a text from different culture, originally written in language which is very different than our language, and then through training, communicative training with the instructor, we want to be introduced together to the text. By the way, you help us very much. Yani I've been teaching for now 17 years CVSP and other courses. Each and every time I discover new things in a text through the eyes of the students who are reading the text for the first time. Okay? Exactly like a good film, like a good movie that you watch and watch over and over again. Okay? Every time you say, I want to watch this movie now. Sometimes alone at home, sometimes, hey guys, let's go and watch this movie. It speaks to me. Okay? So the text, we read them through your eyes as well. There's pleasure in reading difficult things, difficult books. The same way there is a pleasure sometimes in solving or trying to solve a difficult mathematical equation. Sometimes I need to train myself to hear difficult music. What might be difficult music for me might not be difficult for you. It's a matter of training. You train your ear. In this sense, each and every new text or piece of music or a new movie is in a sense difficult. So you need to discuss it with your colleagues, with your friends, your understanding, what have I missed, how should I read better. So these texts become part of not only our education, by the way. These are texts لأنه قلنا classics, you will read them over and over again and again يعني when you come older and older, by the way. Okay? You might find them at the first reading stupid text. Some of them are really stupid. Like any other text, any other artifact. You might like it or you might not like it. But the thing is to be trained how to look at it. Okay? So these are the texts that we're reading. The main thing is that we read together, that you do your part of the preparation. Okay, قلنا 4 tests بالأول and 15 pages the first part of the week, 15 pages the second part of the week. Come to class prepared. هلا in class you can play all kind of games if you want. Okay, or you can play the games alone at home or with your colleagues. Okay, through many things. Today we have Moodle. We have 1 or 2 professors or instructors who do كمان هيدي combined teaching وكذا. But you can play games with the text even in class. In all classes today we have, you can open the electronic devices. But the main thing is that at the end of the week, I got the training. I got first some new vocabulary from each and every text. مش skills. Some of the skills are language skills. I need to have learned from each text at least, let's say 20-25 words from each text. New vocabulary and how to use this vocabulary. Use them in my essays. This is why I want you to write as well. Writing exercises as much as possible. Okay? So skills, reading skills, writing skills, hearing skills when you come to a Tuesday lecture, and this you do it at least 12 times throughout the semester. It's training, part of your training, part of your education. Not to say that this would help you a lot when you go to real life, even if you end up in a company selling gilets in Pakistan. It will help you. I'm not going to take time out to tell you how now. Okay, so I'm saying this first text that we are reading comes from Mesopotamia, ancient Mesopotamia. معناتها it means the land between the 2 rivers. This is Furat and Dijla, Euphrates and Tigris. Okay, this fertile land, very fertile land, is the home of the earliest civilizations and cultures that we know of in human history. Okay, مثل ما قلت لكم, the text Gilgamesh is the oldest written epic. Now we'll define an epic, okay, that reached down to us. It comes from this area. Now Professor Abu Alwan is going to give the lecture on Gilgamesh. She would explain more, and I'm just, this is the Dizikomisha, this is this strange script, okay, kunai form. This is a kunai, metal pencil from iron, and with it you do marks on clay, and then they burn the clay under the sun. In this way the clay can stand all kinds of weather changes and floods and earthquakes over thousands and thousands of years. This is the script that came down to us. In Arabic we call it حرف مسماري. It's like pins. It needed someone, by the way, to decipher this language. It was deciphered in the late 19th century, and since then we can read it as you read it now. A fascinating narrative. What is an epic? I call it the Epic of Gilgamesh. By the way, Gilgamesh is the hero. Is the name Gilgamesh? It seems that the name is Bilgamesh. modern studies tell us this. It's not Gilgamesh, it's Bilgamesh. Whatever the name is, something like Bilgamesh or Gilgamesh, okay, is the hero. Now, who is a hero and what is an epic? Let me read with you. An epic is a sublime, authoritative narrative. It's a narrative, but it's a narrative in poetry, okay? It's a long narrative in poetry, and it tells us about the glory of a certain hero. By the way, the hero represents his culture. معناتها the glory of a certain culture. معناتها each and every culture would produce a writer who is so full of himself, of course, and of his culture, of his civilization, who would write a long poem describing, narrative poem, okay, the greatness of this culture. Now, any poem, any narrative, any journey, Ilna has three things. مظبوط? The journey, love, friendship, and death. Well, this is the human thing. حتى بعد بجوز 10,000 years. Before 6,000 years and after 1,000 years. Okay, we as human beings, okay, love, envy, شو قلنا بعد كمان, express yourself, communicate, and I'm worried about death, sickness and death. People perish. When I say friendship, I say love. Friendship or love, in a sense, they separate, they come together, best I can put them both in one circle, okay? For when we say love, sickness, death, excitement, a journey to learn, okay? So this is the basic thing about it. Now, what makes a narrative, what makes a film, what makes a movie exciting or not, it depends on the narrator. The narrator is unknown. I told you this, epic went in oral tradition for thousands of years, in a different culture and different language, by the way. It was inherited by a certain culture orally. Listen, at a certain point, one writer or more than one writer decided to sit and write what they've been hearing over time, over generations orally. What makes it go over generation is the same thing what makes a good movie stay pass the test of time. You need a good narrator, and you need a good camera, by the way. Camera بالناريتيف معناتها voice. Camera and narrative become in cinema, a movie becomes voice and narrative. معناتها if you are carrying a 32 camera from above in order to get a view from above, okay, a wide view, if I want to come nearer to you, I need to change it to a 8mm camera, carry it on my shoulder or just like this. In narrative, I change the voice. In film, a film starts with the narrator sitting إذا بدك على a rock at the seashore contemplating like you, and the narration is his contemplation, okay? All of a sudden, when you start thinking about your girlfriend, I need another camera and to go take me somewhere else. I need to change the voice in the narrative. A good narrator, a good narrator who can really play with his 32mm camera or 8mm camera or what have you, is a good voice. A voice that starts in the unconscious of history, telling me, I am Gilgamesh, who did this and that, okay? I had a love story. Who's talking to me? It's great, okay? Not going to talk more about this. So an epic is a narrative poem. I just wanted to explain what narrative is in terms of إذا بدكم camera and movie and YouTube. And the author of an epic is unknown لأنه this is an oral epic, Gilgamesh. It was written or it was narrated in Babylonian, in Sumerian, before it was written down in Babylonian. 1,500 years oral tradition in a certain language and culture. It's so fascinating that another culture inherited it, has written it down in their culture and their language. So this is an epic. It talks, it sings, it praises the glory, not only of a certain person, this narrative I. The person represents a culture. He's a hero, and the hero is usually in this early culture is semi-divine. Yani this is intermarriage between gods and human beings. Ooh, the good old days, guys. Not anymore. Not anymore. His mother is Ninsun. She's a goddess. Like Ishtar or like, okay? She lives in heavens. بعتقد his mother is Ninsun, okay? But read it and tell me. His father is a human. We don't know about his father. So he's at least 1/3 God. شو يعني ماشي. More intense, perhaps. He's more aware. What he wants to tell us that he is bigger than life. A hero is bigger than life. I and you. When we write our story, we become bigger than life. I and you, when we have on our journey, on our expedition, when we meet great things and huge monsters and fight for our identity, for our name and for the name of the culture, I and you become greater than life. Greater than life. Tragic, yes, greater than life. Great novels, okay, The Idiot, Dostoevsky, or any other, Zorba the Greek, or any novel you think of. I don't know what novels you read today. They, if they are great, okay, they have an epic dimension, and the characters, if they live with us in over centuries and societies, they become greater than life. So this is a hero, by the way. Let me move, and I can't stop a lot. It's an introduction, okay? So first, what we do in CVSP, how we try to do this in CVSP. Not I do it. When I say we do, ensemble, yani, okay? Together, interaction together. Sorry, I'm holding microphone and trying to lecture. I'm lecturing, actually. But if you stop me and we open a discussion, okay, we're ready. We can't open a discussion if you didn't read. Then you stop me and then we read and then we talk. So, let me move to another. Epics are mythical in the sense that a myth is a traditional, and I'm taking from the dictionary, okay? I'm not plagiarizing. Marx, I'm giving my source, okay? هلا فيك تقول لي بس which dictionary? I go back and tell you which dictionary, the page, and the website. You read it, you know, okay? So it's only from the dictionary. Now we move to another culture, by the way. These cultures that we're talking about, and we're moving to Greek now. We were in Mesopotamia, we're moving to Greeks. If we want to describe these cultures, نحن, if we are going to talk about our society today in Lebanon, what would you say? Stupid, sectarian. I can use other adverbs, and خلاص, look yesterday at the streets, half stupid halabaloos who religious, they claim that they are religious animals. We have no idea what's religion and what's monotheism. Religion is exactly to us like, you know, buying a new car and having a cool drink at the beach. This is it. Now, for these cultures were different. They are polytheistic. Poly, from Greek and Latin, is multi. Theism, ism, we know it. Socialism, tata, all the isms, it gives a label. Shilulism, there remains Tai. Tai come from Theo, Greek God. مش God, لا Jesus ولا Allah, ولا God the Father, ولا Yahweh. A deity. A deity which created or had a role in creation the world with other deities which controls the world. Okay, بس ما عندنا an idea neither of love nor an idea of they take care of the human beings. Sometimes they're fed up with the human beings. They piss at them. And when the gods piss, we have flood. It is as simple as that, but it's much more complicated, and they understand that it's much more complicated. So polytheism, poly is multi, theo is the divinity, theism, yani anything has to do with the divinity. So it's multi approach to the divinity. These are polytheists. Each one of the divinities that they have represents a natural phenomena. Okay, you need to respect all these phenomena. So it's not about worshipping one God. شو يعني worship? I don't know as well. It's more practice. يعني نحن we are very near to them, by the way. Although you claim that you are Muslims وشيعة وسني وكويتلي وأرثوذكس all the other animals that are found today in Lebanon, these people are more religious than you are, than you think what you are today. لأنه it's about piety is a modern word. نحن we use it, we throw it like this. إنه مثل كوكا كولا و 7 up بيبسي. ما بعرف اليوم شو بتاخذوا. كوك مان cool. هذه piety يعني. Okay. هلا they have different vocabulary, they have different approach, but they respect these phenomenon. لأنه this phenomena that is a divinity controls part of her life. Okay, so it's polytheism. It's nothing bad. I wish I were a polytheist. Okay, so the God interfere in human affairs. مش قلنا Gilgamesh is 1/3 God, Ninsun his mother. They intermarry. Oh, by the way, we're going to see Ishtar is going to get mad in love with Gilgamesh. And she's going to ask her father to send him the bull of heaven to kill him. لأنه he didn't love her. قالت له أنا I'll give you a BMW و castle ببرمانة وبتطلع على الكازينو كل يوم and you play هاي. بيقول لا but love me. I don't want to love you. فشي goes to her father the mafiosi وبتقول له go kill him, send him. It's really like this, huh? So this is part of the love story. Interaction between gods and humans. Now when I say polytheist, I move to a different culture, and we're moving to the Greek culture in our area, Mediterranean. Medi in the middle of the word, terra, okay? This is, see, in the middle of the word, one of the earliest as well cradles of cultures. يعني we have a cultural wave. By the way, cultures move with the wave. نحن قطعت الويف at the Arab Islamic culture some 700 years ago. خلاص راحت. Okay? Now it seems the whole cultural wave takes thousands of years to move. Now it seems it's moving towards the Pacific. هذا by the way, since 100 years, some of the big minds who are studying cultures were saying that the cultural wave is moving, it seems, مش tsunami, a wave, it moves slowly. While it moves, it takes with it peoples and cultures, it swallows them up. Okay, يعني it's مثل geology, different layers in a form of a wave. So the cultural wave moved from Mesopotamia to Greece in the Mediterranean. Moving, يعني Greece inherited, if not all, a big part of the cultures. ما الويف عم تمرق, it takes with it cultures. Small fish and big fish, they end up in Greece. So the Greek culture, from there we are going to read the Odyssey. This is Gilgamesh as we have them in scripts, in old inscriptions. This is Odysseus, the hero of this new epic, okay? With, again, a hero, godlike person, إلى آخره. نحن we did all this. Any questions, guys? Comments? So, heroes go through a rite of passage. مش قلنا journey, rite de passage بالفرنساوي. Initiation. مثل ما نحن we go through life, different initiation phases. The whole life, the whole journey is an initiation journey. Now Odysseus is undertaking a journey in a different culture. He is polytheist as well. He went off to war with other kings from Greek, we'll see why, and he's coming back. Coming back home in Greek means nostos. It's the most beautiful, it's the most sweet thing is to come back home. Home ضروري يعني عند my tyrannic father and my half-stupid mother, or other way around. My tyrannic mother and half-stupid father. It's not this. Home is the idea of identity as well. Home is the country. Home is the neighborhood. When we say home, when I say back home, when I'm in Australia and thinking back home, you think of the nice thing, of the sweet things, of the lovely things, of the things that had a role in forming your identity. My grandmother, my first boyfriend, all the things that are sweet and nice. Good smell of food. Okay? So what he is doing back from a devastating war, where he was so cruel like the other heroes, he wants to go back home now. And the god is one of the gods is stopping his nostos. This god is Poseidon, the god of the earthquakes and oceans and seas. Why? لأنه our hero at one of his stops in an island has blinded the eye of one of the sons of Poseidon. Suspense, you read it, you discuss it. It's a fascinating, epic poem, narrative poem, praising, singing the great deeds of the Greeks. Okay? Of the Greeks. Compare. It's about identity as well. Identity here, it's not anymore I'm afraid of death. I'm looking for nostos, kind of identity. I can't cover everything, but I'm definitely not everything during this lecture. I'm just trying to give you a foretaste, help you. Still have 15 minutes? Let's hope that I'll finish. So this is the Mediterranean, this is the Greek islands. By the way, Odysseus leaves from إذا ماني غلطان from somewhere here. شو هاني؟ بعتقد is island somewhere here, okay? And he moves up there, he fights up there, and he's trying to come back. You're going to hear a separate lecture about it. Now, you can compare both narratives. A narrative of the epic, the Odyssey, is supposedly written by Homer. Again, it is written down at least 400 to 500 years after the events, if there were events. But ذكروا, it's not about time and space, concrete events. If I'm singing the praises, okay, of my culture, ما بقعد بدك specific time. But supposedly it's telling us about something that happened 1200 BC. It has been written down by someone, we call him Homer, a blind singer of tales, a blind bard, we call him. Bard is singer of tales, اللي بغني على الربابة. Some 400 years after the event, يعني 800 BC. An epic with a great hero, great problems of life, love, again, death. He's going to go to the underground, مثل the great hero, huh? To Hades, exactly, to Hades. We're going to see كمان.
Poseidon and Hercules and the goddess of love.
So he's going to meet many, many different peoples down in Hades, okay? Death.
Of war.
And about war. طيب. Can please try to compare both two cultures. Then we move in CVSP. In this semester, we're going to move. We finish from the poetic genre, and we move now to a different genre, which is the tragedy, drama. Drama can only take place in a polis, city, state. This is a Greek term again. The Greek word was made out of polises, different great city-states. The greatest two were Sparta and Athens, all the time fighting, each one saying, my culture is better than your culture. My way of living is better than way you are living. We're not going to read anything from Sparta, unfortunately. We're going to read from Athens, okay? So, when we say drama, no drama except in a community, and this social community has formed a city. The idea of a democratic city living together. Don't compare with us today. لما بتسمعوا كلمات ما لهم علاقة، ما لهم طعمة. What we say today democracy ما له علاقة بالهاي. Okay? Don't try to compare at all. Okay? Understand what is democratic when we reach there. Okay? So the role of drama, the role of tragedy, there we are going to be introduced again to Sophocles, a fascinating this play of Oedipus Rex, يعني Oedipus the king. By the way, we know Oedipus لأنه نحن بنقول بالعربي عقدة إديب. We know it from Oedipus complex and Freud. Electra و Oedipus مظبوط. Freud has built his theory on this. Now it's not anymore epic. It is poetry, but it's tragedy. So a polis is a community of adult male citizens, no women and children. The polis exists for the sake of good life. Again, a human being, in order to live your humanity, that the best of your humanity, you should live in a polis. You should live in a city state. Part and member in a city state, social interaction with your group, with your people, okay? But according to certain laws. So a human being fulfills his humanity. I'm not saying her humanity, لأن women and children don't belong to the polis. Pardon? I didn't get it. Time is up. Okay. Lacan, we didn't finish everything. Please, you're going to do all these texts in your classes. All the best of luck for the semester. Thank you. Hey.